Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I'm getting ready to go fishing tomorrow and was doing a little rigging of some rods, and I'm putting a couple of drop shot baits on. And that had me thinking about doing a video for you guys to show you what my go-to drop shot baits are. A lot of really good different baits out there. I tend to have a handful of ones that I really like for smallmouth, a handful of ones that I really like for largemouth, and then kind of ones that are mixed all around. So I wanted to walk you through all of these and just kind of tell you when and where I like to throw them. If you've got some good drop shot baits that you really like that I don't cover here, please throw that in the video comment section so that others can see from you guys as well what's working. And also, guys, if you want to support the channel and you're looking to purchase some tackle and you might want to purchase some of these baits, check out my Tackle Warehouse affiliate link, which I'll put in the video description for you. You can use that to purchase tackle, and a little bit comes back to the channel to help make content for everyone. Also, if you're looking for more content from me, check out my members only page. You can go to my YouTube homepage, click the join button, and find out everything you need to find out about the members only page. All right, so let's talk about drop shot fishing. I'm heading to a lake that is, well, I'd say primarily smallmouth. It's really not. It's probably 50-50 smallmouth to largemouth. My primary target species is going to be smallmouth. But having said that, there's oftentimes when I go there, if the fish aren't set up right, it can be really difficult to catch the smallmouth. It is a trophy smallmouth lake, not high numbers, and if they're not set up right, it can lead to some pretty difficult fishing. So what I tend to do is I go there with the intent to catch smallmouth, and if that doesn't work, I can switch up and go catch largemouth, fishing pretty similar ways. It's generally just shallower. So the smallmouth I'd be targeting are probably in that 25-foot range. They're on rock piles. The largemouth are more in that 10-foot range. They're on weed line edges, but still relating to rock. So a drop shot for both are really good. So I'm rigging one up for largemouth, one up for smallmouth, and I have both just in case. Generally, the smallmouth thing I would say is a 50-50 that it pans out. If it does pan out, I'll stick with smallmouth all day. If it doesn't, I will switch to largemouth and go catch some fish and make the trip at least somewhat successful. So let's start with the smallmouth. Anytime I'm going smallmouth fishing, if I'm fishing a drop shot, you got to have your Berkeley flatworm. I don't think that this is any surprise. This is the 3.6-inch size. The 4 1/4 works great too, but the 3.6 is the standard. You've got a lot of good colors out there. The brown back, there's a smallmouth magic color that's really good. Your green pumpkin, but pretty much any of the colors. I think there's probably 10 colors at this point. They're all really good. I like to stick with your natural shades or your green pumpkins. But if you're going smallmouth fishing, you got to have that. I don't know exactly what it is, but that shape definitely catches them better than any other smallmouth bait that I've seen. If I want to throw a couple other smallmouth baits, one of my favorites that is often not talked about on a drop shot is a small tube. So this is just the 2.5-inch. This is the Maxcent, the Berkeley Maxcent tube, the 2.5-inch size. But your small micro tubes can be excellent on a drop shot. Now, I will say I fish them a little bit different. What I'll actually do with that is I'll throw it out, let it fall to the bottom, and then I'll let my bait go slack, or my line go slack, which actually allows the bait to fall to the bottom, and then I'll pick the rod up. So it's almost like the tube is falling and then getting risen up the 1.5 foot, whatever my leader length is, and then I'll let it fall. I kind of fish it. It's almost like a yo-yo, a slow yo-yo with a drop shot, if that makes sense. But it's amazing to me how there are times where a small tube will outfish everything. So I always have a small tube rigged up. And then at the same time, another one that works really, really well is this guy. Just a little Ned rig or a 3-inch Yamamoto Senko is a good one. I tend to like the Finesse TRD because it floats. So you get a little bit more buoyancy out of it. The other key here is I tend to wacky rig it. I don't like the nose rig it. I actually wacky rig it, and that seems to generate some really good bites. For me, that's really good for the smallmouth when they're feeding more on minnow presentations. It's kind of one of those things. I always try it. Sometimes it pans out really well. Sometimes it doesn't, but it is funny, similar to the tube. When they're on that, they're really on it. And I think there's something to be said with rigging it wacky style versus nose hooking it. But those are my like primary three smallmouth drop shot baits. All of them absolutely excellent. The finesse TRD I really like to throw in black, uh, which they call yoga pants. That's a really good one. The hot snakes, which is the chartreuse and green pumpkin, is really good. Green pumpkin's really good too. Largemouth is a little bit different. I do like to go more wormy on the largemouth stuff. You know, I don't think it's any surprise at all to see the robo worm 6-inch straight tail. Absolute killer. Lots of good colors, but I will say there's something to be said for throwing your pink colors like Morning Dawn. This is the plum berry. So it's pink. It's got a kind of a, I don't know, it's a little bit lighter tail, almost a little bit blue. This is a color that works really well for me. It's very similar to your Morning Dawns. But you got to have that. I do feel like the largemouth tend to like a longer profile than smallmouth. And from that standpoint, that's just kind of the go-to. That's generally the bait that I start with. And then the other one that I have a ton of success with, and a lot of people I know really like to throw this for smallmouth, and it works great for smallmouth, but this is the shad shaped worm by Yamamoto. I like to throw their larger sizes. They do make these all the way down, I think, to 2-inch. But like this is the 4-inch, you know, just a little bit larger. Again, it's a little longer profile, but there's something to be said for this bait for largemouth as well. You know, I catch, for me, I like to fish this in some of your pinch point type areas where maybe you got a little bit of current, you know, maybe your bridge pilings, or maybe you've got like some channel swing banks. That's where I tend to work it more on your channel edges. It just is another really good one at generating a lot of bites. A lot of very good colors as well. This is a chocolate with large black, chocolate with a clear belly and large black flake. That is one. I don't even know if they still make that color, but I've had a ton of success on it. But the shad shaped worm is one that I do really well on for largemouth. So these 5, I mean, these are ones I carry with me to every tournament I fish. Drop shot is a great technique at generating strikes and generating bites during those tough fishing windows. And when the bite's good, it's a very good bait to allow you to fish efficiently. You know, you can cover a lot of water. You can cover the shallow to deep. You can cover pretty much every type of structure depending on how you rig them. I'll throw either an actual little drop shot hook, generally a smaller one, depending on bait size, obviously, but I like a number 2 hook. If I'm throwing, say, something like the robo worm, that's when I'll go with a robo worm straight shank worm hook, the rebarb one, generally a size 1, maybe a 1/0, but all of these absolute fish catchers. If you're not using them, you definitely want to pick up some. Try rigging them in the manner that I do. And I'll also vary leader length a lot throughout the day. I think most people generally stick with 1 leader length. Play around with it. You know, use a longer one or a shorter one, depending on how long you're casting, how deep a water you're fishing. You'd be surprised. You could have a 3-foot leader, but if you're making really long casts or fishing uphill, your bait's only going to be that far off the bottom. So you want to pay attention to that too, and try to figure out roughly what leader length with what bait in what conditions will help you catch more fish. Hopefully this was helpful. Like I said earlier, if you do have some other good drop shot baits that you want to share with everyone, put that in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned. We'll have a new one coming out tomorrow.